How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of FSi's NASCAR DFS Big Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with Mega Ruler 31. Mega, it is Indy week, but we are not on the oval. We are on the infield for the PENNZOIL 150 at the Brickyard, the Indy Road Course.
It looks a little bit better than last year. If you watched the Cup race last year, I remember like the one curb deteriorated to the point where it
Yeah,
turned
yep.
into the Dukes of Hazard, and I think it was Austin Dillon launched himself up and over, and I think Byron was taken out pretty early in the race from
Yeah,
it too.
yeah.
So yeah, it kind of ruined a lot of people's days. But was this also the one where AJ Allmendinger ended up winning because Denny Hamlin got into it and got spun out? Yeah, so I mean that's more Cup stuff, but this is a loaded field.
Yeah.
But you got to be very careful here because you've got a lot of drivers here that people are going to, if they don't watch our videos or pay attention to other stuff, be like, oh, wow, this is a Cup driver. I recognize the name. I'm going to play him. He must be good. But it's a road course. And some of them are just there for practice. I don't think they're really there, you know, in serious contention. There's a couple, but we'll cover all that. So if you're looking at the screen, I changed it up a little bit because I used to have the road course ringers in yellow, but then people thought, oh, yellow means caution, don't play them. So I kind of switched it up. So the baby blue are better than average regular Xfinity drivers that are not like ringers or anything. They're better than average at road courses. The guys in a little bit darker blue are the true like road course we'd call like ringers, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of them.
Yep.
I take that back too because there's some Cup guys too that are in the baby blue, but there are guys that race on a regular basis if they're in baby blue. So they're the specialist guys that only race pretty much in these courses or short tracks or specific to that are in a little darker blue. So as you can see, it's a loaded field with not only Cup drivers, but with also some guys that are very talented at this type of track. Even though it's not a real road course like Watkins Glen or Coda or Sonoma. I mean, the first video we did was the Daytona one, and I said it was the equivalent of me going out back and putting a garbage bag and a hose down the kid's slide with a sprinkler at the end and calling it a water park. But I think just watching practice yesterday, it does look a little bit better. And I think Indy, this isn't like Charlotte and Daytona where they like created it. I think they actually do race Indy
Yeah.
cars on this, so it's a little bit
Yep.
better. So, and I liked what I saw in qualifying in practice yesterday. I think the course will hold up a little bit better. I think they learned a lot, and I think hopefully at the end of the week we'll say kudos to Indianapolis for getting it right.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that breakdown. They're going to be watching this one pretty closely on my way out. Got a long drive today, so I'm gonna have this on in the car while I'm driving.
Well, that's good because
Hopefully,
if you're driving, you can listen to us on a podcast now. So,
exactly. I was just about to transition to that, so well done, Meg. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well, as our YouTube channel, Fantasy Sports Insight. All things Fantasy Sports Insight can be found on those suppliers. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Let's talk about some drivers here. AJ Allmendinger leading off on the pole, 10-1. Looks like the car to beat.
well, I think we need to take a pause here because it is a road course. There's not that many laps, so it's not a dominated race. So we can talk about these guys up top definitely, but I think we need to just quickly look at the bottom because I've seen a lot of talk. There was a lot of problems in qualifying with people are just going to start with Brandon Jones, Parker Klingerman, and Brandon Brown, and then build the rest of their lineup. I think that is a strategy. And this is also another week where you're looking for place differentials. So if you don't use all your money in your lineup too, that's perfectly fine. But I think that's going to be a very dangerous strategy. And when we get down there, we'll talk about that. So now we can go back up top. I just wanted people, if they're listening to these top drivers up here, we're not looking for like initial dominators and stuff because it's a long course. Like in practice, they only were able to run like 5 laps in
Yeah.
the time period that they had. So
Only
practice,
Gibbs was the one able to make 10 laps.
yeah. So the practice times are there on the side to help, but kind of take it with a grain of salt because, like I said, within only 5 laps, you really didn't learn a lot, and some people did learn a lot, and they pulled their cars off and decided to fix them rather than qualify, and that's why we have some of the mess down below. Okay,
Right.
so AJ Allmendinger, yes, absolutely. fifth highest salary, which if I know there's some Cup guys mixed in here, but I think probably should have been like the top one. He and Gibbs, just because of how good both of them have been on road courses recently. I think AJ's finished first or second in the last like 4, 5, 6 races. I said like I believe he won here last year in Cup. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I can't remember which one it was, but like he is very very good. Like he started out as one of these guys that were kind of in the blue, and he kind of evolved into an all around driver, which
Yeah,
I think good for him.
yeah, absolutely. His range has broadened out a lot since his earlier days when he was racing for JTG Doherty in the Cup Series, where he was just strictly just the road course ringer for that team. And then he moved into, doing all things. And now with Colleague, he's really found his stride as a driver. And it's really cool to see. But yeah, he is definitely going to be a cash option, a prime play. Gonna probably finish in this inside that top five with some laps led. I know there's not many, but I still think he can be an optimal in the optimal build with the way qualifying shook out. Ty Gibbs, I think, is a cash option as well.
You can
Uh,
play both. Yeah,
yeah,
it is
you
possible,
can
and
advise that. Yeah,
yeah, you can play both, and it's still like your lineup. And again, I know I said it's a place differential one, but if you think that these guys can finish 1 and 2,
which I
and
could.
that's definitely. And we've seen a couple races in Cup and Xfinity where the people that started first and second are the ones that ended up finishing first and second. So
Yeah, yeah. AJ Allmendinger was the guy that won at this course for the Cup Series. Okay, moving on to Riley Herbst, 7,800.
he and Bowman, I say no. Riley Herbst is not really his style. He's gotten into a lot of wrecks and stuff. He made it into the top qualifying bracket because they did 2 rounds and then they took the top 10 there. So I mean, obviously he found something 11th in practice, but I just really, with his bad luck and everything, I think he's starting way too high. There's so many other guys that are suited for this type of race that I just feel it's really risky there. Same thing with Bowman. Bowman's dropping down. He's in the 17. It's the one that Kyle Larson almost won Portland with before
Yeah,
Gibbs made the really nice, actual clean pass with him at the end of the race there. And so the car is decent, but I just don't see Alex Bowman as like a true road course driver. And I think that again, this is just kind of practice for him because the playoffs are approaching and they want to get good seating. And obviously, Larson and Elliott are really, really good at this, and Byron's had his chance. So I think Bowman's the one that needed the most practice, so that's why he got this ride.
yeah, I do definitely like Allmendinger and Gibbs a lot more. And there's even a few other drivers down the line here that I do like that aren't as expensive as 10-3 for Bowman. I think there's a route he could be in the optimal. Obviously, it's winning the race. So if you think he can win the race, and 17 cars not that bad. So I think for me, it'd be a GBP. I could understand the fade. You got to take a stand, excuse me, with all these really good drivers in the field. So it makes sense to me. I think it's GBP to fade. So I'll end on that. Now we have Sam Mayer at 92. I'm hearing this car's really quick. So I'm going
I
to be in on Sam Mayer.
he's actually I he's in my cash placeholder right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I watched the qualifying, watched the practice. He looked really good,
Yeah.
and they said that they have this race circled on the schedule. It is the one race that they're looking forward to the most. They felt that he drives this course really well. He loves this course, and
Yeah.
most of the people you find a lot of the time if they don't like the course, then they're just like, I'm going to go through the motions, I'm going to get on to next week. I'm going to try to get as many points as I can, not lose as many points, and go on with it. But somebody is saying, I love this course, I'm looking forward to it, I circle on my calendar, then I'm definitely in on them.
Yeah, I'm in on Mayer as well. I like that cash idea too. I think it's sneaky way to be different today. Chase Briscoe in the '07 Greenlight Racing Machine, 10-6. Pretty hefty price tag, but he won the event last year for the Xfinity Series.
It was 2 years ago, I believe.
Or 2 years ago,
He was
sorry.
up in Cup last year. It was 2020, I believe, was the inaugural one that they had here. So, and he's been a decent road course driver on when he was in Xfinity. So
Yeah.
he's one that's really mastered like especially in the new Cup car, but like shifting. Like I said, he's always like knows the gear ratios and knows that really well. So um, I think he's gonna be super popular based on that too. And again, if you want to go Allmendinger Briscoe with a little bit more place differential over Gibbs, or Gibbs Briscoe to start your cash as the guys you're paying up for, then I'm perfectly fine. Like I said, we're going to get to plenty of value down at the bottom to get two of
Yeah.
these guys in, and you might be able to get three of these guys in.
Yep. Next up, Noah Gregson, 9,800. I think what you have there, GBP, medium ownership, is about right. People, honestly, though, Gregson sometimes comes in way low owned
Yeah.
because people just don't want to play this guy because they don't know which Gregson shows up.
Well, he won Pocono last week, right?
Correct.
So I mean, but his form before that was like horrible. Not horrible, but I mean, he just not what we expected is him like being in
It's a
contention
roller
every
coaster.
single week. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so not I'm not saying like he was like Brandon Jonesing it or Josh Williamsing it. By the way, he didn't even make the field yet. He's got a cup ride tomorrow. Explain that one to me. But um, going back to Gregson, I think he's been good at these road courses, but I think the competition has caught up to him because he was really good when it was he and Cindric and Briscoe were all battling, but then Allmendinger's in the mix, Ty Gibbs is in the mix now, Mayer's in the mix now. Allgaier's always been there. Austin Hill. I mean, you've got so many other guys that are better. I think it kind of waters down what he was.
I will say this: in two races in the Xfinity Series on the road course, he does have two top fives,
Okay.
an average finish of fourth. So I think there's merit to play, but sometimes it feels like you got to hit lightning in a bottle with Gregson. So it's a GPP. Josh Berry, 9,400. Fade. Interesting call here.
He's starting too high. He's trying to get better on road courses, but he's not a good road course driver. If you just look at the statistics, I think he'll have some. Actually, I think the ownership's gonna be low. I think people understand that Josh Berry
Yeah.
is good at like certain most types of tracks, but road courses are not his forte.
Mhm. All right, moving on to Austin Hill and Justin Allgaier, both drivers here in that 9K range. Your thoughts on both?
I actually like both. I like Allgaier with just his experience. Would it
Yeah.
surprise me if he moves up into the top five? Absolutely not. Austin Hill, he was second fastest in practice here. So I
Yeah.
think there's definitely a lot of, in these Richard Childress racing cars, he and Creed have been actually sneaky good at these road courses. So, and both of them were decent in truck also. So yeah, I think I definitely like them.
Yeah, I like Allgaier for sure. I think he's definitely a top 10 today. I don't consider that practice time to be the tell all for his car. I think he can come in with a better adjustments and perform better throughout the race. I think he would be an interesting third driver in your lineup or second driver in your lineup, depending on where you go. If you try to cram in Allmendinger and then two 9K drivers,
Yeah.
and you try to
Place
get a little
differential's nice.
little place differential, yeah, with that 10th starting spot. Austin Hill, you could do the same. I think they're kind of simultaneous plays here, and Austin Hill is turning out to be a really good driver. So interesting player, interesting driver to watch going forward in the
I didn't
future.
see if it completely came out yet, but there was a whole RCR Cup like silhouette that
Yep,
they put out.
yep.
It
It
announced who
kind
it
of
was.
looks like him.
Well, it could be Hill or Creed, either one of them. It
Yeah,
makes sense. So
my money's on Hill. Next up, we have Landon Castle in the 10 Colleague Racing 7,200. I actually really like this play. Justin Haley in this exact same car. Um, Finished in two races, two top fives. Or no, that was Jeb Burton in the 10. Which one was Haley? Haley was driving the
he was a colleague, wasn't he?
yeah, last year. Wasn't he in the 11 then?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I know Haley's probably going to be a little bit better on road courses than some of these colleague drivers that we'll talk about,
Castle
but
was he?
I like Castle this week. Regardless, I like the price tag. Speed was there. He's had some good results. I know he's not a road course driver. I know that, but I
I
don't know
think
the
the
price
drivers.
tag.
with drivers like him, you need to look for place differential. The guys we've talked about up here have a good shot of like top fiving and winning this. I don't see Castle doing that, but
Yeah.
he's not a complete fade. So
I think he might be one of my like low owned GPP. And now this is true. If he is extremely high owned, as you have here, then I can see not playing him because it's not worth it to me that if he's going to be chalk, I'm going to try to ride the chalk. And if he fails, then I'm going to fail with everybody. I kind of want to be on whatever side the ownership is, or I want to be on the other side of the ownership. So if he's high, then I might go, fade. If he's
if
really low owned, then I'm going to try to jump on him. So we'll see where it ends up.
if you're in that range of 72 and you don't have any more, I'd take Ty Dillon at 27th with like much more place differential. Andrew Lally, who is $200 cheaper at
Andy
22nd,
Lally a good
who's a
driver.
road course driver. I just
Yeah,
I just have to look at even Brett Moffitt at $400 cheaper is really decent at road courses. I just in context I got to look at them. So, but I respect your opinion, and hopefully when we play the head to head with your Landed Castle play and one you make fun of me for coming up probably, then we'll see how it happens.
well, like I said, I just want to be on the other side of the ownership. Sage Karam in the 45 Alpha Prime. This usually is the Tommy Joe Martin's car.
He's starting a little
Um,
high though here.
yeah, a
It's
little too
just,
high.
yeah, I don't know if you could hang on to the top 15, but 57, he's a GPP. Like, it's not too much to find out. So,
Correct. Next up, Bubba Wallace in the 18 Joe Gibbs Racing 8800.
this should almost be a fade. Like, Bubba is in this race only to try to get more practice on road courses because he's just been horrible.
Man, I wouldn't play him in Cup. I can't think about playing him
Yeah.
in the Xfinity.
But I think he's going to have high ownership because I think people are going to look at him and be like, "Oh, it's Bubba Wallace," and he's got the best Gibbs car besides Ty Gibbs's
Right,
ride. So,
right.
and this is the All Star car, but again, I think it's more practice, just like Bowman.
Yeah, and I'm, pretty positive that 8800 price tag is going to be a place where people just fall on. So I think he's going to get fall on ownership where, oh, last man in, it's Bubba Wallace. He can't do a no wrong at starting 13th at 8800. So yeah, I'm with you. If it's a high ownership, I'm going to be fading Bubba. Alex LeBay. This is a road course. We play Alex LeBay.
Yeah, starting a little bit high, but I mean that's fine. Third best in practice was super impressive in practice, even on like worn tires. Like he didn't have
Yeah.
much fall off, which is really, really, really good because this course really eats up tires with the aggressiveness of the turn. So I don't know if he's gonna be my primary cash build, but I'm gonna have Alex Obey in some lineups today, definitely.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy where I expect to finish where he starts, and that's perfect for 6,100. So, if he's inside that top 12 to 16, that's what you want. That's some good finishing position right there at that price tag. 8,200 Sheldon Creed, 8,400 Daniel Hemrick. Your thoughts?
Creed definitely. Like I said, I
Yeah.
really like these RCR cars. He was fourth fastest in practice. It seems like Richard Childress has something figured out here. Didn't qualify as well, but maybe they're set up more for long run speed than just a quick burst of one lap, which I'm perfectly fine with. Um, because this is, even though you have spinouts and chaos on this corner, on this track, they sometimes usually have localized cautions, right? Where they just, or maybe that's just for real road courses. I don't know. But anyways,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell because I know like at Watkins Glen or Sonoma, like they'll have a localized caution, like they'll put slow the cars down like through a certain corner, but they won't throw a complete yellow flag.
Oh,
So I think definitely like Creed, think definitely he can get up into the top 10 there. Hemrick, no, like his colleagues stepped back a little bit this year, and like you said, it was Haley's car last year, but it's not Haley driving it. And Hemrick has really not been someone I've loved on rig courses, but I think just the namesake and with the place differential, he'll have some higher ownership, probably over 20%.
yeah, I think Hemrick can be a GPP play. I think if you're deciding between Bubba and Hemrick, I'd actually prefer Hemrick
Hmm.
because I think the car is going to be real solid. And I think Hemrick last year in that 18 finished 12th in this race. So I think he can finish somewhere near the top 15, top 12. If all things go right for Hemrick, that'd be like a high result for him. Yeah, 8,400 is not really the price tag you want to pay to find out though. So it's GPP for sure. Brett Moffitt, 6,800. That is a really low price tag for Brett Moffitt.
Yeah, I think he's a sneaky good play in a GPP here at 6,800. I think he probably can finish where he starts, or maybe even get up to like 15th or so. And he's been decent on road courses. He's kind of like that silent assassin. He just
Yeah,
you just look at the standings at the end and be like, oh wow, Brett Moffitt, top 15. Just like Haley
right.
Deegan. I don't know if you watched the truck race. I think she was like top 15 last night out of nowhere. Like ran a
Yeah,
quiet
she had a good
race and
showing.
didn't hear her name at all, and then all of a sudden you look at the final standings, you're like, wow, she had a good race.
She did. Yeah, she definitely did. All right, Ross Chastain in the 92 DGM Racing. This is usually a Bear, Bassett
Yeah,
riding in this car, but
I don't.
Ross is taking over, I guess. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know what to
know
make of
if
it. I think he'll do fine. I don't know if he's going to be like breaking the slate fine, but I think he'll do
oh, I don't
fine.
think so. I mean, you have the place differential, and I'll have some ownership of him, probably more in a GPP than in cash, just because I think he's a decent road course driver, but he's super aggressive, and that can get you in trouble. I just want to see like Ross Chastain and Ty Gibbs like rubbing and banging up against each other. It would just be a trip. Um,
Yeah, don't put them two next to each other on a track for Christ's
no,
sake.
don't put him next to Denny Hamlin on a track.
You
That's
know, that's conversation for tomorrow, sir.
yep.
Well, tonight or tomorrow
Fair.
morning,
Yep.
depending.
So, yeah, Chastain is definitely someone to consider, but I just don't know how good he's going to be here. And this car just kind of concerns me too.
Yeah. I think it's GPP. I'm still deciding on what to do with that one. Miguel Paludo. I love playing this guy on road courses. Riding in that 88 Junior Motorsports. 8K, not too expensive either, and I like the starting spot.
The only thing that's a little concerning is that he hit a curb really hard and had a bad wheel hop.
Ooh.
So he qualified after that. It was during practice. So
Uh-huh.
hopefully, I don't know. They might inspect it. They might, if they have to change out the gearbox, he might end up like down at the bottom. So
Starting in the rear,
only
yeah.
thing that mildly concerns me, worth mentioning. But other than that, I think he's pretty safe in cash and could probably top 15 if not top 10.
Yeah, if the car is fine, I think he's a good top 15
It's just
driver today.
motorsports, so they have the resources, they have the
Oh yeah.
tech to be able to look it over and make the decision and stuff. It's not like it's um, BJ McLeod car where they're just
Right.
like, well, we'll run what we have
Right. Exactly.
until it runs no more. So,
All right. Next up, we have Austin Dillon in the
no,
68.
no, yes, yeah. I looked at this and I'm just like, what? Why is he in the six? Why is Brandon Brown is only two spots with five races to go out of the playoffs? Like, why is Brandon Brown not racing? And then I looked and Brandon Brown is racing. He's just oh, actually, sorry. I have to change this. He's in the Mike Harmon Racing 47.
Why on earth would he do this?
Well, it 1 second. Is it Mike Harmon Racing?
Yeah, the
For,
47.
for today, it is today. Okay.
No, it is. You're right.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking: is Brandon Brown is a single-owned team, probably struggling, hasn't had a great season, but close to the playoffs. So Brandon Brown still racing is able to still accumulate places towards the playoff, which is perfectly fine. This is not a track that suits him. So why don't you bring in for some money? Because I'm sure Dylan paid for this. So, and it's going to actually help the car for like owner's points
I
because
see.
like they go by like finishes for that. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
who's driving it. So I think this is a situation where they're just like, we're close to the playoffs, but we need a little infusion of cash. Lawson Dillon's looking for a ride. Let's have him jump in for this one. Maybe help us get some owner points. Get help our sponsors out and stuff. Brandon can still race. We'll just throw him in the Mike Harmon car, and I think it's a win-win for everybody. But it's more of a business thing than a racing thing.
I guess. He's still two out of the playoffs, and on the Xfinity circuit, they have. Well, okay, they got a couple races till they get to the round of
Yeah, they
12.
have five more races,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I see that this is an opportunity where he might not have done well anyway. So put him in the crap car, and
Right.
you know, his finish will probably be the same where it was, but put somebody else that might be better, quote, that needs to practice in the normal car, and that might help with the owner's points and spots
Yeah.
and money and stuff like that.
And he's probably going to throw everything he has at Daytona in August, so
Yeah.
I can see it. Okay, I understand now, and I've come to peace with it. But Austin Dillon, though, no,
No,
wrong choice of driver.
exactly. That's why I said business decision, not a racing decision. Okay.
Yep, Jeb Burton.
No, but I mean the price is like crazy low. Like what happened to
Yeah,
Jeb Burton?
sub 6K, Jeb Burton.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty telling on the R Motorsports 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just that. I don't like the car. I haven't all year.
They
I
should
mean,
put him
there's
in the
been
68.
I've been playing Jeb Burton in spots,
Right.
where I thought necessary, but that's him starting in the way back, starting 21st. I don't see him finishing anywhere farther than that. All right, Andy Lally. I think this is going to be a
I,
really good
the
play
next
today.
three, I think, are all the same category here.
Yeah, Andy Lally, Preston Pardus, Kaz, Gralla. I think Pardus and Lally are must plays in my opinion.
Yeah, Pardis I see as like super like high to. I don't think he's gonna be. He's probably the fourth highest owned from just what I've seen, like the buzz on him on different like um, social media and stuff. But
Yeah, I'm in.
the cars kind of scares me. It's starting at 23. I get the pricing and everything. I get he's a great driver, but the Carlos scares me off of it a little bit.
It's the price tag for me. If I'm not going to play Jeb Burton,
Yeah,
and then I'm probably going to be playing Pardus. I mean, there's another driver we'll talk about down here,
yeah.
and
But
there's two on the same team that we'll probably talk about. But yeah, I
I really like Lally just with his
Lally for sure.
with the
Yeah,
seventh in practice. Kaz Gralla, he ran the truck race last night. Now, I'm glad we didn't do a truck video because I thought that all three were at the same track.
that was an amazing race, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, it was. But was it still in Indianapolis? Like, how did
It
he like?
was Lucas
Okay,
Oil Speedway,
he must have been busy because
real
he must have
close.
been like qualify here, go run the truck race, and then back. But it's this is another RCR backed car with the big machine racing.
Yeah,
I don't know why Jay Buford. He was usually a decent road course driver, so
right. They just cut him off.
yeah. I hope the
Yep.
dude's okay or everything. Maybe like had like a concussion or something, or
I
like
don't know.
hopefully he's okay. Jay, we miss you. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Sure.
Kaz is definitely decent here. Also ran decent in the truck race last night and in here. So I think all three of these are good. Like you said, the Preston Pardus, the price is probably the best. Lally, I think the equipment and well, no,
Yeah.
Growler actually has the best equipment, but I don't know. I
It's
think
Lally over Gralla for me,
yeah,
but I can play
they're all
Gralla.
options here.
Yep.
But the next three,
Snyder, Alfredo, no.
Dylan, are all like GPPs. Like
Yeah.
none of them are like great road course drivers. They're starting around the same thing. Obviously, different price points here. So probably Alfredo would be the best punt. We'd probably take him over Burton.
Only because of the price tag, I
Yeah,
guess. But I honestly, I don't think I'm playing either Snyder or Alfredo.
yeah,
Ty Dillon, maybe.
yeah.
Honestly, I don't like the price tag, so I'm leaning towards fade.
Okay, yeah. Weatherman's been okay at road courses. Not enough to get like a blue yet, but I think
I
he's
like this play.
yeah at cash at 52.
Yeah, I like it because of the 52. I like him better than I like Alfredo because you get a couple extra spots. I think Weatherman's actually a better road course driver than Alfredo.
Yeah,
And in two races here, he's got an average finish of 15th. Those are probably in Mike Harmon cars or like his own old, single
nothing
race
that
team.
Jesse you into one is anything great, but
I mean, he's had some decent results in this car.
right,
So
yeah.
I'm going to ride with Weatherman as a GPP play.
Yeah.
Possibly cash. I'm not sure. I haven't built any rosters yet or any lineups. Jeremy Clements, 62, and Satino Ferrucci, 64.
I actually love both of the ones. And actually, to be honest, it
You
came
have the
down
floor.
to putting the last prime tag on Sieg or Ferducci. Because Ferducci, even though you look at like qualifying, he's like 23rd. Sam Hunt car is a decent car. And he was an Indy car driver and
Yeah.
has driven this road course many, many times, probably more than anybody else in the field.
Yeah.
So I love Ferducci here, and like I said, he was almost a prime play, but I went with Sieg. Um, Jeremy Clements is actually sneaky good here too. He's had, I think, an average of top 15 finish in road courses, and price is decent. 21st in qualify or in practice. So I'm going to be playing some Jeremy Clements today also.
Man, this slate is turning up to be pretty fun. I'm
Yep.
liking what I see. Ryan Seeks, 5,900. Prime play. You have the floor.
I know he's not a road course guy, but I just don't see him as a 31st place car. I think he definitely can probably get some place differential, and at 59, like I said, I really debated him or Ferducci just with the experience. So, but I think Sieg is the one that we're really going to probably want just based on like it's kind of like a block because I think there's going to be a lot of ownership on him, and if he does do well, you're going to need to kind of match that.
Alrighty, Sam Heckert.
Good in a BJ McLeod car. He's a good road course driver, but low price. His practice speeds were horrible, so I
Yeah,
don't know. He's going to need a lot of like wrecks or attrition in front of him to actually be a decent play.
I agree with this next two. Ellis and Bailey Curry going to be fades for me as well.
Yep, yep. No, no.
Patrick Gallagher and the Ryan Sieg Racing 38,
Uh,
56. I don't
yeah,
mind it.
yeah, and I don't know. Maybe Gallagher is a good racer, so maybe I consider putting the prime tag on him. He's $300 cheaper, and he actually is a road course guy. But I think
Yeah.
I think game theory wise, Sieg is still a play. I don't know. I've got some time before we post this and officially for FSI, so I'll uh it's
I
between
like
just Sieg or Gallagher.
I like Patrick Gallagher. He finished 19th at Road America earlier in the year for on the Xfinity race in the same car. So
Okay,
I'm gonna go with Patrick Gallagher as one of my main cash plays of the
okay,
slate.
there we go.
Brandon Brown, or Brandon Jones, excuse me.
Brandon Jones, you have to lock him in here. As
Yeah,
much as
cash block.
he's viable, he's got to be the first guy in your lineup, just
Yep.
because they had electrical issues, so they changed like the ignition, the spark plugs, and stuff. They didn't have time to qualify, but they went back out and used the qualifying as even more practice time, and they felt that everything that they was figured out and it was good. So because of the adjustments, they weren't allowed to legally qualify and keep their time. So he got a little bit more practice in, and I think he'll be perfectly fine. He's not a 36 place car, even if he just makes it up to the top 20 with his price, and we've paid off a lot. Probably gonna be 5 or 6x today.
Yeah. Also wanted to make note that Ryan Sieg finished 10th at Road America. So I think you can prime both of them. Yes, Brandon Jones is a play. He's going to be one of the highest on that slate. Parker Kligerman lost had prime
Well, here, why don't we do this?
yeah.
Because we'll just make Allmendinger a cash play, because then they can decide who they want to take up top. Obviously, we think
Yeah.
Allmendinger
Yeah,
is
with
the
all
play.
the things, there we go. There, see there, we're making adjustments on the fly. We gave you your value plays of the slate, the ones we feel most confident on. Pick and choose your drivers up top. Um,
Parker
yeah,
Klingerman.
yeah, lost power steering or gear issue. He had a lot of issues going on. Go
I'm
ahead.
not sure if this, like Parker Klingman in truck races used to start back here during COVID when he didn't have any rides or points and would blow through the field like a hot knife through butter and be up in the top 10 within 10 laps, probably before the competition caution or, the end of the stage. And I don't want to rule that out here, but he's a GPP just because I don't know if all the mechanical stuff is fixed.
Yeah.
But if you
Um,
want to start your lineup Gallagher, Jones, Klingerman, I'm fine with that. But do not play Brandon Brown in this Mike Harmon racing car. He's
no,
not a road course guy, and it is probably the worst car in the field. It was just painted black. I don't think as a sponsor. It might even be look. He can't be a start from Park because he's trying to compete, but um, to try to get into the playoffs. So he needs some points. And there is definitely some place differential there, but I just don't trust this car.
not one bit.
Okay.
Nope. Fade. Kligerman, if I hear like through the Twitter machine that his car is fine, team got it fixed, he'll start in the rear, blah 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 blah. If I get an update like that, then I'm gonna feel okay on playing Kligerman. I just
Okay,
want
we
to
got
make that know.
2 minutes in my batteries right
Yeah.
now.
Anything else to add?
Nope, I think we just pretty much nailed everything here. So
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Thank you for tuning in. You could follow us on Twitter at TKNation47. That is at MegaRoad31. And you can find us on our website, FSiDFS.com. Jump in the Discord, ask us questions, comments below. Please like this video. Enjoy today's race at Indianapolis.